What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Logisticalstyles coming at you with another video, and today we are doing a product review. The product we're reviewing today is this right here. This is the Xvive U35. It's a wireless XLR adapter that you can use to turn your dynamic microphone into a wireless microphone. You can use it to transmit audio from your DJ device, your controller, your mixer. It's just a great replacement for XLR cables. Now, I've done reviews for products like this before from other brands and from Xvive as well. In the past, I've done video reviews on this one right here. This is the uh, predecessor to this one. This is the Xvive U3, and this one operates on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency range, while this new improved one, the U35, it works on the 5.8 gigahertz frequency range. Now that makes a difference because you get different behavior from, or you get different uh, features and characteristics from one frequency range versus the other. Now the 2.4 frequency range, by nature, it goes further than 5.8. This will have a further reach, but it will not be as strong of a signal. Now this one, the 5.8, gives a very strong signal, but it doesn't go as far. So that's really interesting because when I was going through the specs comparing the older unit versus the new, this one on the packaging on the manual says it's good for up to 90 feet. However, this 5.8 is good for up to 100 feet. And I've tested both of them in my yard. I've got a pretty big side yard, so I've gone out and played around with it. And they definitely they give you that 100 feet and then some. So I've had both. I believe when I tested the original one, I did get 150 feet, if not more. But I'm in my yard. There's not a lot of interference out there. It's not a lot of reflective surfaces. There's not a lot of things happening out there to give it a real world test. Now, I have used these in other locations at real world gigs, and I've had success with it. I've had to change channels sometimes because I've been in a bad area, or I live in Atlanta, and I remember specifically I had a gig where I was right at the airport at the hotel. I mean, the hotel at the airport, and that was just way too much radio interference in that area. But in other places where I've done parties and weddings and settings that weren't quite so busy, I've had no problem with it. So that's what I'm excited about this. I'd like to see how well this works in a party situation, to see how clean of a signal I can get or how well it works. But I have good confidence that it'll work well because it's worked well in my testing here. Also, going over the features and the specs, I see that they did make some improvements to this device, which makes it makes me more confident to use it. One of the things that they've added is the fact that you can now scan using the receiver. Using the receiver, you can scan the area and know which is the best available channel and go right to it. With the older version, you couldn't do that. You had to do like a trial and error, hit or miss. But with this new one, you can just turn on the device. You see the blue light showing what channel you're on. If you hold down the button underneath that for a few seconds, it'll start going around. The light is spinning around, it's scanning. It'll go around a couple of times until it decides what channel is the best. And then in this case, channel number one is the best. So all I have to do is turn on the transmitter and set it using the button in the middle to put it on channel one, like the receiver, and then the green light comes on, and now you know you've got a solid connection. On the other side, there's a light that would come on to show you your charging status when it's not on at all, but the device is on, but that red light's not on. That means you have somewhere between 100 and 41% of battery life. That'd be the top. And then the middle, it would turn on. If it's on and it's solid, that means you have like between 40 and I think like 11%. And then when it starts flashing, that means you're really low and you should probably go ahead and hook it up to get charged. And this has lights on the bottom that do the same thing. So that's nice to have. I do like the fact that you can scan so you know exactly what you're getting into or what channel you should set it to when you get started. Another upgrade is the fact that they've changed the charging port to USB-C, and instead of using this micro USB right here, now you can use USB-C, which is a much more universal charging cable, and you're more likely to find those around the house or if you're out and about and you need a charger. So I do like that and I appreciate that. I definitely like the fact that they put this little ring around the end, so when I reach into my or I dig into my bag of adapters, I know what I'm getting. I know which ones or what. I know the ones with the red are the ones that are the 5.A, the newer 5.A, so they're the newer ones. So I really do appreciate that. So I think they really did make some really good improvements on this. It's not a very difficult or complicated device, but there's always room to make things better. Now, as I was doing some research on these, I wanted to see really if there was any other differences in it, and it doesn't really seem to be that. There aren't many, if any at all. There was one I came across, and that was the radio frequency power. I will say that this is probably how they're making up for the fact that 5.8 has uh, shorter range. They they more than doubled the radio frequency power on this one. On this device, the RFP is um, 10 milliwatts. On this one right here, it's 25. So that means that radio frequency power is the strength of the radio signal that's being sent out. So this being more than twice as strong, that would definitely make up for it being a 5.8 gigahertz versus the 2.4, which has a longer range. So I do like that, and I think that was one of the big improvements with it. The fact that it has a stronger radio power frequency, and then it also has a radio frequency power, and it also has the ability to scan. Really big upgrades for this device, in addition to the USB-C charging. So overall, I do like this device. When you get it, you get everything that you would expect. You get a user manual, you get a little catalog of their products, charging cable, carrying bag, and then you get the devices themselves. So this is one set. It has a transmitter and a receiver, but you can also buy it in a package that has two transmitters and two receivers because one cool thing about these transmitters are the fact that you can pair up two or more receivers to it. So you can just have one transmitter connected to multiple speakers. So that's a really cool feature to have. And if you want to spend a little bit more to get that, you can buy that configuration as well. But I'm going to put a link in the description of the video below so you can see where you can get it from Xvive. They've got great prices on this thing. It's not super expensive and it's definitely worth the value. It helps you get rid of the clutter of your cabling. Now, when I use these, I'm not going to be using it mainly. I'm not going to be using it for the long run. I'm not going to use it to eliminate that 100-foot cable. I'm always going to use cable for very long runs unless I have to fall back on wireless. But for my short runs of XLR cables that go from like my controller or my mixer to my main speakers, which might be to the left or right of me or within close proximity, I'm talking like 25 feet or so, I'll use that. I'll use these to get sound to those speakers so I don't have that cable to worry about. To be able to just plug in your speaker and place it somewhere and then hook up one of these, it makes a great big difference in your setup. Now, another thing I did notice that they mentioned in this catalog, not catalog, but in the user manual, which is a little hack that I've always used with these wireless XLR adapters, regardless of the brand. And they put it in here as a tip for you being able to get extended range. And that is to use the XLR cable as an extension to get this receiver or transmitter in the right position. Because one of the most important things in working with wireless is making sure that you have direct line of sight between your transmitter and your receiver. So speakers that I use are RCFJ8. Now, their connections are on the bottom of that speaker on the sub. So I could put my device into that XLR port, my receiver into there, and it possibly could get signal, but the best way would be to have it up top, on top of the speaker. And you can do that by running an XLR cable, something short, maybe 5 feet, 5, 6 feet of cable, run it from the output and get this situated up top so you have a better chance of having a clean line of sight because the antenna is up here. And when you want to get the best signal from an antenna, you don't want to point it at what you're trying to transmit to. You want to have it up vertical because the sound is being transmitted around, and that's how it's getting picked up. So that's something to think about. But they do mention it in here to use the XLR cable as a way to extend the range of your devices. What I'm going to do now is show you a couple of videos or show you some examples of how I'm using it and let you see how practical it is and how great it is to get rid of these XLR cables. Just a really quick little something with me with my controller because all of my controller cases have XLR ports built into them. I've placed them in all of them, and that combined with these makes a very, very clean setup. So we'll get into that little footage and let you check that out. But if you've had these or if you've used them before, had experience with them, please let me know in the comment what you think about them. I know they're not brand new. I'm a little behind on these, but I just wanted to get this product out or this video out because they sent me the product and I really do appreciate my folks over at Xvive for doing that. But check it out. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing. I do a little bit of everything DJ related, whether it's reviews, commentary, or even performance videos, just something to keep the culture alive and going.